The Book of Proverbs is unlike any other book in the Bible. It's not narrative history, it's not prophecy, it's not law. It's wisdom literature, ancient Israel's collected insights on how life actually works. Written primarily by Solomon, the wisest king who ever lived, and compiled by scribes over centuries, Proverbs is essentially a manual for successful living. But not successful in the shallow sense, not follow these steps and get rich quick. Proverbs teaches a different kind of success, character that leads to stability, wisdom that leads to prosperity, discipline that leads to freedom. And here's what's remarkable. These principles, written 3,000 years ago, still work because human nature hasn't changed. The consequences of pride, laziness, foolish speech, bad company, they're the same today as they were in ancient Jerusalem. Proverbs doesn't promise easy, it promises true. It's blunt, sometimes uncomfortable, often countercultural. It contradicts most of what modern society tells you about happiness, success, and the good life. But it works, because it's based on observation of how reality actually operates, not how we wish it would. Today, we're walking through 21 core lessons from Proverbs, principles that, if you apply them, will fundamentally change your trajectory. These aren't theoretical, they're practical, battle-tested over millennia. Some will confront you, some will comfort you, all of them will challenge you. Ready? Let's dive into ancient wisdom that's more relevant today than ever. Lesson 1. Guard your heart above all else. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. This is the foundational principle of Proverbs. Guard your heart above all else. Not your reputation, not your possessions, not your comfort. Your heart, meaning your inner life, your desires, your thought patterns, your core beliefs. Why? Because everything you do flows from it. Your actions are downstream from your thoughts. Your habits are downstream from your desires. Your life is downstream from your heart. If your heart is corrupt, no amount of external success will lead to a good life. If your heart is wise, even hardship won't destroy you. Modern culture tells you to follow your heart. Proverbs says the opposite. Guard your heart. Protect it. Filter what gets in. Be ruthlessly selective about what you allow to shape your inner world. What you consume, media, relationships, entertainment, conversations, shapes your heart, and your heart shapes your life. Practical application. Ask yourself, what am I letting into my heart daily? Social media, news, toxic relationships, comparison, bitterness? What you feed grows. What you starve dies. Guard your heart like you'd guard a spring that supplies your entire village. Poison the spring, and everything downstream dies. Lesson 2. Your words create your world. Proverbs chapter 18, verse 21. The tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit. Your words aren't neutral, they create reality. Not magically, not mystically, but practically. The person who constantly says, "I'm terrible with money," will make financial decisions that confirm that identity. The person who says, "My marriage is falling apart," will interact with their spouse in ways that push them apart. The person who says, "I always fail," will quit at the first obstacle because that's who they've declared themselves to be. Your words don't just describe reality, they shape it. Proverbs says you'll eat the fruit of your tongue, meaning your words eventually become your experience. Speak death, criticism, cynicism, complaint, gossip, negativity, and you'll eat death. Your relationships will die. Your opportunities will die. Your potential will die. Speak life, gratitude, encouragement, truth, hope, wisdom, and you'll eat life. Things will grow. Relationships will flourish. Opportunities will emerge. Practical application. Monitor your speech for 1 week. Notice how often you complain, criticize yourself or others, speak in absolutes, I always, I never, gossip or tear others down. Then consciously shift. Speak life, speak truth, speak with intention. Your words are seeds. Plant carefully.
Lesson 3. Pride always comes before destruction. Proverbs 16:18. Pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall. This isn't a religious warning. It's an observed pattern. Pride, thinking you're above consequences, above needing help, above learning, inevitably leads to destruction. Why? Because pride makes you blind. The proud person stops learning because they think they already know. The proud person stops listening because they believe their perspective is sufficient. The proud person ignores warning signs because they can't imagine failure. And then reality hits. The business fails. The relationship crumbles. The consequences arrive. Proverbs isn't saying God punishes pride, though that's also true. It's saying pride is self-punishing. It disconnects you from reality, from wisdom, from help. And disconnection from reality always ends with collision with reality. Look at the pattern. King Saul's pride cost him his kingdom. King Uzziah's pride cost him his health. Haman's pride cost him his life. Every single time the pattern holds. Pride leads to blindness, leads to fall. Practical application. Where are you unteachable right now? Where are you certain you're right and everyone else is wrong? Where do you refuse to ask for help? That's your vulnerable spot. That's where the fall is coming, unless you humble yourself first. Humility isn't weakness, it's alignment with reality, and reality always wins. Lesson 4. The company you keep determines. Proverbs 13:20. Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. You become like the people you spend time with. It's not optional. Their habits become your habits. Their values become your values. Their standards become your standards. Walk with the wise and become wise. Walk with fools and suffer harm. This isn't about being judgmental. It's about being intentional. If you want to be financially stable, spend time with people who manage money well. If you want a strong marriage, spend time with couples who've built strong marriages. If you want spiritual depth, spend time with people who actually pursue wisdom, not just talk about it. And conversely, if you spend time with complainers, you'll become a complainer. If you spend time with gossips, you'll become a gossip. If you spend time with people who make excuses, you'll become someone who makes excuses. The principle is ruthless. Show me your friends, and I'll show you your future. Practical application. Audit your relationships. Who are the 5 people you spend the most time with? Are they who you want to become? This doesn't mean abandoning struggling friends. It means being honest about who's influencing you toward wisdom and who's pulling you toward foolishness. You can't soar with eagles if you're running with turkeys. Choose your company carefully. It's choosing your future. Lesson 5. Delayed gratification builds wealth. Proverbs 13:11. Dishonest money dwindles away, but whoever gathers money little by little makes it grow. Proverbs 21:5. The plans of the diligent lead to profit as surely as haste leads to poverty. Proverbs has a lot to say about money, and the core principle is simple: slow and steady wins. Get-rich-quick schemes fail. Dishonest gain dwindles. Impulsive decisions lead to poverty. But gathering little by little, consistent work, wise saving, patient investing makes it grow. This contradicts everything modern culture screams at you.
lottery tickets, crypto gambles, passive income schemes, quit your job and travel the world. Proverbs says, no. Diligent planning, little by little, patience. The person who can delay gratification, who can save instead of spend, invest instead of consume, build instead of buy, that person builds wealth. Not because they're smarter, because they're patient. Practical application. Where are you choosing immediate pleasure over long-term gain? Are you buying things you can't afford to impress people you don't like? Are you eating out when you should be saving? Are you consuming entertainment instead of building skills? Delayed gratification is uncomfortable. That's why most people don't do it. That's also why most people don't build wealth. Small, consistent, wise choices compound. So do foolish ones. Choose carefully.
Lesson 6. A good name is worth more than riches. Proverbs 22:1. A good name is more desirable than great riches. To be esteemed is better than silver or gold. Your reputation, your name, is your most valuable asset. More valuable than money, more valuable than possessions, more valuable than success. Because reputation is trust, and trust opens doors that money can't. You can lose everything and rebuild if you have a good name. People will help you, trust you, give you opportunities. But if you lose your name, if you're known as dishonest, unreliable, manipulative, no amount of money will restore what you've lost. This is why Proverbs constantly warns against dishonest gain. It's not just moralistic, it's practical. The person who cheats to get ahead might win in the short term, but their reputation catches up, and when it does, they're done. The person who does right even when it costs them, who keeps their word, who deals honestly, who doesn't cut corners, builds a name that becomes capital. Practical application. Are you protecting your name, or are you risking it for short-term gain? Do you keep your word even when it's inconvenient? Do you treat people well even when there's no immediate benefit? Do you do right when no one's watching? Your name is being built or destroyed daily. Every interaction is a deposit or withdrawal. Guard it. It's worth more than gold. Lesson 7. Discipline is love, not punishment. Proverbs 13:24. Whoever spares the rod hates their children, but the one who loves their children is careful to discipline them. This is one of the most misunderstood verses in Proverbs. Modern readers see rod and think abuse, but that's not what's being taught. The principle is this: discipline is an expression of love, not a contradiction of it. The parent who never corrects their child doesn't love them more, they love them less. They're condemning them to a life of entitlement, weakness, and inability to handle reality. The parent who disciplines, who sets boundaries and forces consequences, teaches delayed gratification, is giving their child the tools to succeed in a world that doesn't care about their feelings. This applies beyond parenting. It applies to self-discipline. The person who never denies themselves anything, who never pushes through discomfort, who never makes themselves do hard things, they're not being kind to themselves, they're being cruel. They're creating a self that's weak, fragile, incapable. Discipline is love. Love for your future self. Love for your children. Love for your potential. Practical application. Where have you avoided discipline in the name of grace or self-care? Are you letting your kids get away with disrespect because you don't want conflict? Are you skipping the gym because you deserve a break? Are you avoiding hard conversations because they're uncomfortable? Real love does hard things. Real love enforces boundaries. Real love says no when it needs to. Discipline yourself. Discipline your kids. Do the hard thing. It's not cruelty, it's love.
Lesson 8. Listen more than you speak.
Proverbs 18:13. To answer before listening, that is folly and shame. Proverbs 17:28. Even fools are thought wise if they keep silent, and discerning if they hold their tongues. Most people listen to respond, not to understand. They're waiting for their turn to talk, formulating their reply while the other person is still speaking. Proverbs says this is folly. The wise person listens first, asks questions, seeks to understand before being understood. Why? Because you can't respond wisely to something you haven't fully heard. And here's the bonus. Even if you have nothing wise to say, keeping silent makes you appear wise. The person who talks constantly reveals their foolishness. The person who speaks carefully after listening is respected. Practical application. In your next conversation, try this. Don't interrupt. Don't formulate your response while they're talking. Just listen. Ask clarifying questions. Understand first. You'll be shocked how rare this is and how powerful. Most people just want to be heard. Give them that gift and you'll stand out as wise. Lesson 9. The path to success is boring. Proverbs 21:5. The plans of the diligent lead to profit as surely as haste leads to poverty. Proverbs 13:4. The sluggard craves and gets nothing, but the desires of the diligent are fully satisfied. Success isn't sexy, it's boring. It's showing up every day when you don't feel like it. It's doing the small, unglamorous things consistently. It's planning, executing, repeating. No shortcuts, no hacks, no overnight success. Just diligent, patient, consistent work. The sluggard wants results without effort. The diligent person does the work whether they feel like it or not, and the diligent person wins every time. Practical application. Stop looking for the shortcut. Stop waiting to feel motivated. Just show up, do the work, be consistent. Boring wins. Lesson 10. Don't co-sign someone else's debt. Proverbs 6:1-5. If you have put up security for your neighbor, if you have shaken hands in pledge for a stranger, free yourself like a gazelle from the hand of the hunter. This is one of the most specific financial warnings in Proverbs. Don't co-sign loans. Don't guarantee someone else's debt. Don't put your own financial stability at risk for someone else's poor planning. Why is Proverbs so adamant about this? Because the person who needs a co-signer is someone banks won't trust. And if banks, whose entire business is assessing risk, won't trust them, why should you? Co-signing feels generous. It feels like helping, but it's not. It's enabling poor financial behavior, and it puts your own stability at risk. Practical application. If someone asks you to co-sign a loan, the answer is no. If you want to help, give them money you can afford to lose. Don't tie your finances to their irresponsibility. Generosity is good. Foolishness is not. Don't forget to support this channel by subscribe if you're learning and enjoying this video. Lesson 11. Choose your battles wisely. Proverbs 23. It is to one's honor to avoid strife, but every fool is quick to quarrel. Proverbs 26:4. Do not answer a fool according to his folly, or you yourself will be just like him. Not every argument is worth having. Not every insult deserves a response. Not every wrong needs to be corrected. The fool fights every battle. The wise person chooses carefully. Because some battles cost more to win than they're worth, and some people aren't worth arguing with. Practical application. Before you engage in conflict, ask, Is this worth my time and energy? Will this person actually hear me? What will I gain even if I win? Sometimes walking away is strength, not weakness. Sometimes silence is wisdom, not cowardice. Choose your battles. Most aren't worth fighting. Lesson 12. A lazy person kills themselves slowly. Proverbs 26:13-16. The sluggard, lazy person, says, "There's a lion in the road, a fierce lion roaming the streets." As a door turns on its hinges, so a sluggard turns on his bed. Proverbs has zero patience for laziness. The sluggard, lazy person, is portrayed as someone who makes excuses, avoids work, and slowly destroys their own life. There's a lion in the road. Translation, they'll find any excuse to avoid responsibility. And the result? Poverty, hunger, missed opportunities, wasted potential. Laziness doesn't kill you quickly. It kills you slowly, by degrees, through missed chances and compounded neglect. Practical application. Where are you making excuses? Where are you avoiding hard work because it's uncomfortable? Stop. Get up. Do the work. Laziness is a slow death. Diligence is life. Lesson 13. Your character shows in small things. Proverbs 20:11. Even small children are known by their actions. So is their conduct really pure and upright. Character isn't what you do when it matters. It's what you do when it doesn't. How you treat the waiter reveals more than how you treat your boss. How you act when no one's looking reveals more than how you act on stage. Small things reveal true character, because in small things, you're not performing, you're just being.
Lesson 14. A gentle answer diffuses anger. Proverbs 15, verse 1. A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. When someone comes at you with anger, you have two choices. Match their energy and escalate. Respond gently and de-escalate. Most people choose option 1. Their pride demands it. But Proverbs says option 2 is wiser. A gentle answer diffuses. A harsh word inflames. This doesn't mean weakness. It means control. It means you're not controlled by their emotion. You're choosing your response. Practical application. Next time someone attacks you with anger, try a soft response. I understand you're frustrated. Help me understand what's upsetting you. Let's find a solution together. Watch the anger deflate. Not always, but often. Control your response. It's power. Lesson 15. Planning beats impulse every time. Proverbs 21, verse 5. The plans of the diligent lead to profit, as surely as haste leads to poverty. Impulse feels exciting. Planning feels boring. But impulse leads to regret. Planning leads to success. The person who acts on every feeling, who makes decisions based on emotion, who jumps without looking, they pay for it. The person who plans, who thinks ahead, who considers consequences, they profit. Practical application. Before making a significant decision, sleep on it, write out pros and cons, get counsel from wise people, consider long-term consequences. Impulse is the enemy of wisdom. Lesson 17. Don't trust flattery. Proverbs 26, verse 28. A flattering mouth works ruin. Proverbs 29, verse 5. Those who flatter their neighbors are spreading nets for their feet. Flattery is manipulation dressed as compliment. The person who constantly flatters you wants something. They're setting a trap. True friends tell you the truth. Flatterers tell you what you want to hear. Practical application.
Be suspicious of excessive praise from someone who wants something. Be grateful for honest criticism from someone who wants your good. The friend who wounds you with truth loves you more than the enemy who flatters you with lies. Lesson 18. Generosity leads to abundance. Proverbs 11 verses 24 through 25. One person gives freely, yet gains even more. Another withholds unduly, but comes to poverty. A generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will be refreshed. This is paradoxical. The generous person ends up with more. The stingy person ends up with less. Why? Because generosity creates a different kind of economy. The generous person builds relationships, goodwill, and reputation, and those things create opportunities money can't buy. The stingy person hoards but isolates, and isolation is poverty, no matter how much you have. Practical application. Where can you be generous this week? Not foolishly, not enabling, but genuinely giving to refresh someone else. You can't outgive a generous life. It compounds.
Lesson 18. Rebuke from a friend is better than empty praise. Proverbs 27:6. Wounds from a friend can be trusted, but an enemy multiplies kisses. The friend who corrects you loves you. The enemy who never challenges you is setting you up to fail. We want praise. We need correction. The person who tells you what you want to hear keeps you weak. The person who tells you what you need to hear makes you strong. Practical application. Do you have friends who will tell you hard truths, or just people who affirm everything you do? If everyone around you agrees with you all the time, you're surrounded by either cowards or enemies. Find friends who love you enough to wound you with truth. Lesson 19. Control your appetite, or it will control you. Proverbs 23:2. Put a knife to your throat if you are given to gluttony. Proverbs 25:28. Like a city whose walls are broken through is a person who lacks self-control. This isn't just about food, it's about any appetite. Food, sex, entertainment, comfort, validation. If you can't control your appetites, they will control you. And a person without self-control is defenseless, like a city with broken walls. Practical application. Where do you lack self-control? Where do your appetites run your life? Practice saying no to yourself. Fast from something. Deny yourself something you want. Not because it's bad, but because you need to prove to yourself that you're in control. Self-control is freedom. Lack of it is slavery. Lesson 20. There's a time for everything, including silence. Proverbs 17:28. Even fools are thought wise if they keep silent, and discerning if they hold their tongues. Silence is underrated. You don't have to have an opinion on everything. You don't have to weigh in on every controversy. You don't have to correct every wrong. Sometimes the wisest thing you can do is say nothing. Practical application. Practice silence. Let others be wrong without correcting them. Let controversies pass without commenting. You'll be shocked how much drama you avoid and how much wiser you appear. Lesson 21. Fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Proverbs 9:10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. This is the foundation of everything else. Fear of the Lord doesn't mean terror. It means awe, reverence, recognition that you're not the center of reality. God is. Wisdom begins when you stop pretending you're self-sufficient and recognize you're dependent. When you stop pretending you make the rules and recognize there's an order to reality you didn't create. When you stop living like there are no consequences and recognize every action has an outcome. All the other principles in Proverbs flow from this one. Reality is ordered by God, and wisdom is aligning yourself with that order.
Practical application. Live with the awareness that your life matters, your choices have weight, and you're accountable to something beyond yourself. That's not bondage, that's the beginning of true freedom, because when you know the rules, you can live wisely within them. When you deny the rules, you just break yourself against reality. Fear the Lord, it's where wisdom starts.
Conclusion. 21 lessons from Proverbs. Ancient wisdom that still works. Not because it's religious, because it's true. These principles aren't about being spiritual, they're about being aligned with reality. And reality rewards wisdom and punishes foolishness, whether you believe in God or not. But here's the beautiful irony. When you live by these principles, you discover there's a moral structure to the universe. Consequences follow actions. Character matters. Truth exists. And that points to something or someone beyond ourselves. Proverbs doesn't argue for God's existence, it assumes it, and then shows you how life works best when you align with that reality. So here's my challenge. Pick one of these 21 lessons, just one, and apply it for the next 30 days. Guard your heart, control your speech, choose humility, walk with the wise, practice delayed gratification, protect your name, discipline yourself. Just one for 30 days, and watch what changes. Because wisdom isn't about knowing, it's about doing. And when you do wisdom, your life changes. Thanks for walking through Proverbs with me. If one of these lessons hit well, let me know in the comments which one. Read Proverbs, apply Proverbs, live Proverbs. Ancient wisdom, modern application, timeless truth. God bless you.